Good wishes to all of you. Social Science, Contemporary India 2, Textbook in Geography for Class 10. 6th Chapter, Manufacturing Industries, Audiobook. On the occasion of Diwali, Harish went to a market with his parents. They purchased shoes and clothes for him. His mother purchased utensils, sugar, tea, and diyas, earthen lamps. Harish observed that the shops in the market were flooded with items for sale. He wondered how so many items could be moved in such large quantities. His father explained that shoes, clothes, sugar, etc. are manufactured by machines in large industries. Some utensils are manufactured in small industries, while items like diyas are made by individual artisans in household industries. Do you have some ideas about these industries? Production of goods in large quantities after processing from raw materials to more valuable products is called manufacturing. Do you know that paper is manufactured from wood, sugar from sugarcane, iron and steel from iron ore, and aluminium from bauxite? Do you also know that some types of clothes are manufactured from yarn, which itself is an industrial product? People employed in the secondary activities manufacture the primary materials into finished goods. The workers employed in steel factories, car, breweries, textile industries, bakeries, etc. fall into this category. Some people are employed in providing services. In this chapter, we are mainly concerned with the manufacturing industries which fall in the secondary sector. The economic strength of a country is measured by the development of manufacturing industries. Importance of manufacturing. Manufacturing sector is considered the backbone of development in general and economic development in particular, mainly because manufacturing industries not only help in modernizing agriculture, which forms the backbone of our economy, they also reduce the heavy dependence of people on agriculture income by providing them jobs in secondary and tertiary sectors. Industrial development is a precondition for eradication of unemployment and poverty from our country. This was the main philosophy behind public sector industries and joint sector ventures in India. It was also aimed at bringing down regional disparities by establishing industries in tribal and backward areas. Export of manufactured goods expands trade and commerce and brings in much needed foreign exchange. Countries that transform their raw materials into a wide variety of finished goods of higher value are prosperous. India's prosperity lies in increasing and diversifying its manufacturing industries as quick as possible. Agriculture and industry are not exclusive of each other, they move hand in hand. For instance, the agro industries in India have given a major boost to agriculture by raising its productivity. They depend on the latter for raw materials and sell their products such as irrigation pumps, fertilizers, insecticides, pesticides, plastic and PVC pipes, machines and tools, etc. to the farmers. Thus, development and competitiveness of manufacturing industry has not only assisted agriculture in increasing their production but also made the production processes very efficient. In the present day world of globalization, our industry needs to be more efficient and competitive. Self sufficiency alone is not enough. Our manufactured goods must be at par in quality with those in the international market. Only then will we be able to compete in the international market. Contribution of industry to national economy. Over the last 2 decades, the share of manufacturing sector has stagnated at 17% of GDP out of a total of 27% for the industry, which includes 10% for mining, quarrying, electricity and gas. This is much lower in comparison to some East Asian economies where it is 25 to 35%. The trend of growth rate in manufacturing over the last decade has been around 7% per annum. The desired growth rate over the next decade is 12%. Since 2003, manufacturing is once again growing at the rate of 9 to 10% per annum. With appropriate policy interventions by the government and renewed efforts by the industry to improve productivity, economists predict that manufacturing can achieve its target over the next decade. The National Manufacturing Competitiveness Council (NMCC) has been set up with this objective. Industrial locations are complex in nature. These are influenced by availability of raw material, labor, capital, power and market, etc. It is rarely possible to find all these factors available at one place. Consequently, manufacturing activity tends to locate at the most appropriate place where all the factors of industrial location are either available or can be arranged at lower cost. After an industrial activity starts, urbanization follows. Sometimes industries are located in or near the cities, thus, industrialization and urbanization go hand in hand. Cities provide markets and also provide services such as banking, insurance, transport, labor, consultants, and financial advice, etc., to the industry. Many industries tend to come together to make use of the advantages offered by the urban centers known as agglomeration economies. Gradually, a large industrial agglomeration takes place. In the pre-independence period, most manufacturing units were located in places from the point of view of overseas trade such as Mumbai, Kolkata, Chennai, etc. Consequently, there emerged certain pockets of industrially developed urban centers surrounded by a huge agricultural rural hinterland. Industry market linkage, inputs, raw materials and or component parts, factors of production, land, labor, capital, entrepreneur, infrastructure, transport, factory, outputs, products, transport, market, money. Take a look at figure 6.1. This is the process of industry market linkage. The key to decision of the factory location is the least cost. Government policies and specialized labor also influence the location of industry. Take a look at figure 6.2. Ideal location of an industry. Cost of obtaining raw materials at site, cost of distribution of production, decision to locate factory at site, cost of production at site. Classification of industries. List the various manufactured products you use in your daily life such as transistors, electrical bulbs, vegetable oil, cement, glassware, petrol, matches, scooters, automobiles, medicines and so on. If we classify the various industries based on a particular criterion, then we would be able to understand their manufacturing better. Industries may be classified as follows. On the basis of source of raw materials used, agro-based cotton, woolen, jute, silk, textile, rubber and sugar, tea, coffee, edible oil. Mineral-based iron and steel, cement, aluminum, machine tools, petrochemicals. According to their main role, basic or key industries are those which supply their products as raw materials to manufacture other goods, example iron and steel and copper smelting, aluminum smelting. Consumer industries that produce goods for direct use by consumers, sugar, toothpaste, paper, sewing machines, fans, etc. On the basis of capital investment, a small scale industry is defined with reference to the maximum investment allowed on the assets of a unit. This limit has changed over a period of time. At present, the maximum investment allowed is rupees 1 crore. On the basis of ownership, public sector owned and operated by government agencies, Bell, Sale, etc. Private sector industries owned and operated by individuals or a group of individuals, Tisco, Bajaj Automotive, Dabur Industries. Joint sector industries which are jointly run by the state and individuals or a group of individuals. Oil India Limited Oil is jointly owned by public and private sector. Cooperative sector industries are owned and operated by the producers or suppliers of raw materials. Workers or both. They pool in the resources and share the profits or losses proportionately. Such examples are the sugar industry in Maharashtra, the coal industry in Kerala. Based on the bulk and weight of raw materials and finished goods, heavy industries such as iron and steel, light industries that use light raw materials and produce light goods such as electrical goods industries. Activity. Classify the following into two groups on the basis of bulk and weight of raw material and finishing goods: oil, knitting needles, brassware, fuse wires, watches, sewing machines, shipbuilding, electrical bulbs, paint brushes, automobiles. Agro-based industries: cotton, jute, silk, woolen, textile, sugar and edible oil, etc. Industries are based on agriculture raw materials. Fiber production: spinning, weaving, knitting, dyeing and fishing, garment manufacture. Fiber production: raw fiber, spinning yarn, weaving, knitting, fabric, dyeing and finishing, garments. Garment manufacture, garments. This is take a look at figure 6.3, value addition in the textile industry. Textile industry. The textile industry occupies unique position in the Indian economy because it contributes significantly to industrial production, employment generation and foreign exchange earnings. It is the only industry in the country which is self-reliant and complete in the value chain, that is from raw material to the highest value added products. Cotton textiles. In ancient India, cotton textiles were produced with hand spinning and handloom weaving techniques. After the 18th century, power looms came into use. Our traditional industry suffered a setback during the colonial period because they could not compete with the mill made cloth from England. The first successful textile mill was established in Mumbai in 1854. The two world wars were fought in Europe. India was a British colony. There was a demand for cloth in UK, hence they gave a boost to the development of the cotton textile industry. In the early years, the cotton textile industry was concentrated in the cotton growing belt of Maharashtra and Gujarat. Availability of raw cotton, market, transport, including accessible port facilities, labor, moist climate, etc., contributed towards its localization. This industry has close links with agricultural and provides a living to farmers, cotton ball plunkers and workers engaged in ginning, spinning, weaving, dyeing, designing, packing, tailoring and sewing. The industry, by creating demand, supports many other industries such as chemicals and dyes, packaging materials and engineering works. While spinning continues to be centralized in Maharashtra, Gujarat and Tamil Nadu, weaving is highly decentralized to provide scope for incorporating traditional skills and designing designs of weaving in cotton, silk, zari, embroidery, etc. India has world class production in spinning, but weaving supplies low quality of fabric as it cannot use much of the high quality yarn produced in the country. Weaving is done by handloom, powerloom and in mills. The hand spun khadi provides large scale employment to weavers in their homes as a cottage industry. Why did Mahatma Gandhi lay emphasis on spinning yarn and weaving khadi? Why is it important for our country to keep the mill sector lower than powerloom and handloom? India exports yarn to Japan. Other importers of cotton goods from India are USA, UK, Russia, France, East European countries, Nepal, Singapore, Sri Lanka and African countries. We have a large share in the world trade of cotton yarn. Our spinning mills are competitive at the global level and capable of using all the fibers we produce. The weaving, knitting, and processing units cannot use much of the high quality yarn that is produced in the country. There are some large and modern factories in these segments, but most of the products production is in fragmented small units which cater to the local market. Take a look at this map. India distribution of cotton, woolen and silk industries. This mismatch is a major drawback for the industry. As a result, many of our spinners export cotton yarn while apparel garment manufacturers have to import fabric. Suppose that yarn is sold at Rs 85 per case. If it is sold as a trouser in trouser, it fetches Rs 800 per kg. Value is added at every stage from fiber to yarn to fabric and to garment. Why is it important for us to improve our weaving sector instead of exporting yarn in large quantities? Although we have made significant increase in the production of good quality long staple cotton, the need to import is still felt. Power supply is erratic and machinery needs to be upgraded in the weaving and processing sector in particular. Other problems are the low output of labor and stiff competition with the synthetic fiber industry. Jude Textile. India is the largest producer of raw jute and jute goods and stands at second place as an exporter after Bangladesh. Most of the mills are located in West Bengal, mainly along the banks of the Hugli River in a narrow belt. The first jute mill was set up in near Kolkata in 1855 at Rishra. After partition in 1947, the jute mills remained in India, but three-fourths of the jute producing area went to Bangladesh, erstwhile East Pakistan. Factors responsible for their location in the Hugli Basin are proximity of the jute producing areas, inexpensive water transport transported by a good network of railways, roadways and waterways to facilitate movement of raw material to the mills, abundant water for processing raw jute, cheap labor from West Bengal and adjoining states of Bihar, Odisha and Uttar Pradesh. Kolkata as a large urban center provides banking, insurance and port facilities for export of jute goods. Challenges faced by the industry include stiff competition in the international market from synthetic substitutes and from other competitors like Bangladesh, Brazil, Philippines, Egypt, and Thailand. However, the internal demand has been on the increase due to the government policy of mandatory use of jute packaging. To stimulate demand, the products need to be diversified. The main markets are USA, Canada, Ghana, Saudi Arabia, UK, and Australia. The growing global concern for environment friendly biodegradable materials has once again opened the opportunity for jute products. Sugar industry. India stands second as a world producer of sugar but occupies the first place in the production of gur and kansari. The raw material used in this industry is bulky and in howlers its source sucrose content reduces. The mills are located in Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Gujarat, Punjab, Haryana and Madhya Pradesh. 60% mills are in Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. This industry is seasonal in nature, so it is ideally suited to the cooperative sector. Can you explain why this is so? In recent years, there is a tendency for the mills to shift and concentrate in the southern and western states, especially in Maharashtra. This is because the care production here has a higher sucrose content. The cooler climate also ensures a longer crushing season. Moreover, the cooperatives are more successful in these states. Major challenges include the seasonal nature of the industry, old and inefficient methods of production, transport delay is in reaching care, reaching cane to factories, and the need to maximize the use of baggage. Mineral based industries. Industries that use minerals and metals as raw materials are called mineral based industries. Can you name some industries that would fall in this category? Iron and steel industry. The iron and steel industry is the basic industry since all the other industries, heavy, medium, and light, depend on it for their machinery. Steel is needed to manufacture a variety of engineering goods, construction material, defense, medical, telephony, scientific equipment, and a variety of consumer goods. Activity. Make a list of all such goods made of steel that you can think of. Production and consumption of steel is often regarded as the index of a country's development. Iron and steel is a heavy industry because all the raw materials as well as finished goods are heavy and bulky, entailing heavy transportation costs. Iron ore, coking coal, and limestone are required in the ratio of approximately 4 is to 2 is to 1. Some quantities of manganese are also required to harden the steel. Where should the steel plants be ideally located? Remember that the finished products also need an efficient transport network for their distribution to the markets and consumers. In 2016, with 95.6 million tons of crude steel production, India ranked third among the world crude steel producers. It is the largest producer of sponge iron. In 2016, per capita consumption of steel in the country was only around 63 kg per annum against the world average of 208 kg. Activity. Take a look at table 6.2, total production of finished steel in India. Year 2010 to 11, production in metric tons per annum. 2010 to 11, 68.62, 11 to 12, 65.70, 12 to 13, 81.68, 13 14, 87.67, 14 15, 92.16, 2015 16, 91, 16 17, 101.3. Source: Ministry of Steel, Government of India. Why is the per capita consumption of steel so low in India? Activity: collect information about products of steel plants in India. Many steel plants are smaller, have electric furnaces, use steel scrap and sponge iron. They have re-rollers that use steel ingots as well. They produce mild and alloy steel of given specifications. Take a look at figure 6.4. Process of manufacture of steel. Transport of raw material to plant. Blast furnace. Iron ore is melted, limestone is fluxing. Material which is added, slag is removed. Coke is burned to heat the ore. Pig iron. Molten materials poured into molds called pigs. Steel making. Pig iron is further purified by melting and oxidizing the impurities. Manganese, nickel, chromium are added. Shaping metal, rolling, pressing, casting, and forging. Take a look at this map: India, iron and steel plants. Take a look at figure 6.5, crude steel production in India and China. Source: World Steel Association website. The blue color refers for India and the brown China. An integrated steel plant is large, handles everything in one complex from putting together raw material to steel making, rolling and shaping. Most of the public sector undertakings market their steel through Steel Authority of India Limited sale. In the 1950s, China and India produced almost the same quantity of steel. Today, China is the largest producer of steel. China is also the world's largest consumer of steel. Chota Nagpur Plateau region has the maximum concentration of iron and steel industries. It is largely because of the relative advantages this region has for the development of this industry. These include low cost of iron ore, high grade raw materials in proximity, cheap labor and vast growth potential in the home market. Though India is an important iron and steel producing country in the world, yet we are not able to perform to our full potential largely due to high costs and limited availability of coking coal, lower productivity of labor, irregular supply of energy, and poor infrastructure. We also import good quality steel from other countries. However, the overall production of steel is sufficient to meet our domestic demand. Liberalization and foreign direct investment have given a boost to the industry with the efforts of private entrepreneurs. There is a need to allocate resources for research and development to produce steel more competitively. Activity. Have you read about the Kalinganagar controversy? Collect information from different sources and discuss. Aluminium smelting. Aluminium smelting is the second most important metallurgical industry in India. It is light, resistant to corrosion, a good conductor of heat, malleable, and becomes strong when it is mixed with other metals. It is used to manufacture aircraft utensils and wires. It has gained popularity as a substrate of steel, copper, zinc, and lead in a number of industries. Aluminium smelting plants in the country are located in Odisha, West Bengal, Kerala, Uttar Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Maharashtra, and Tamil Nadu. Take a look at figure 6.6 strip costing mill at smelter of Nalco. Bauxite, the raw material used in the smelters, is a very bulky, dark reddish colored rock. The flow chart given below shows the process of manufacturing aluminium. Regular supply of electricity and an assured source of raw material at minimum cost are the two prime factors for location of the industry. Activity. A factory produces aluminium saucepans with plastic handles. It obtains aluminium from a smelter and a plastic component from another factory. All the manufactured saucepans are sent to a warehouse. Which raw material is likely to be most expensive to transport and why? Which raw material is likely to be the cheapest to transport and why? Do you think the cost of transporting the finished product after packing is likely to be cheaper or more expensive than the cost of transporting aluminum and plastic? Why? Chemical industries. The chemical industry in India is fast growing and diversifying. It comprises both large and small scale manufacturing units. Rapid growth has been recorded in both organic and inorganic and organic sectors. Take a look at figure 6.8. 4 to 6 tons of bauxite, 2 tons of aluminum, 1 ton of aluminum. Figure 6.7. Process of manufacturing in aluminum industry. Bauxite, the raw material, bauxite quarry, transport rail or ship. Alumina, bauxite crusher and alumina dissolved out. Aluminum refinery, bulk are shipped to site of smelter. Calcinated petroleum coke from a refinery, pitch from a colliery. Cryolite, a molten metal acts as an electrolyte. Aluminum smelter, electricity 18,600 per ton of ore. Inorganic chemicals include sulfuric acid used to manufacture fertilizers, synthetic fibers, plastics, adhesives, paints, dyes, stuffs. Nitric acid, alkali soda ash used to make glass, soaps and detergents, paper, and caustic soda. These industries are widely spread over the country. Why do you think it is so? Organic chemicals include petrochemicals, which are used for manufacturing of synthetic fibers, synthetic rubber, plastics, dye, stuffs, drugs, and pharma- pharmaceuticals. Organic chemical plants are located near oil refineries or petrochemical plants. The chemical industry is its own largest consumer. Basic chemicals undergo processing to further produce other chemicals that are used for industrial application, agriculture, or directly for consumer markets. Make a list of the products you are aware of. Fertilizer industry. The fertilizer industry is centered around the production of nitrogenous fertilizers, mainly urea, phosphatic fertilizers, and ammonia phosphate DAP, and complex fertilizers which have a combination of nitrogen and phosphate P and potash K. The third, that is potash, is entirely imported as the country does not have any reserves of commercially usable potash or potassium compounds in any form. After the Green Revolution, the industry expanded to several other parts of the country. Gujarat, Tamil Nadu, Uttar Pradesh, Punjab, and Kerala contribute towards half of the fertilizer production. Other significant producers are Andhra Pradesh, Odisha, Rajasthan, Bihar, Maharashtra, Assam, West Bengal, Goa, Delhi, Madhya Pradesh, and Karnataka. Cement industry. Cement is essential for construction activities such as building houses, factories, bridges, roads, airports, dams, and for other commercial establishments. This industry requires bulky and heavy raw materials like limestone, silica, and gypsum. Coal and electrical power are activity. Where would it be economically valuable to set up the cement manufacturing units? The industry has strategically located plants in Gujarat that have suitable access to the market in the Gulf countries. Activity. Find out where the plants are located in other states of India. Find their names. The first cement plant was set up in Chennai in 1904. After independence, the industry expanded. Improvement in the quality has found the produce a readily available market in readily available market in East Asia, Middle East, Africa, and South Asia part of apart from a large demand within the country. This industry is going well in terms of production as well as export. Efforts are being made to generate adequate domestic demand and supply in order to sustain this industry. Automobile industry. Automobiles provide vehicle for quick transport of goods, services, and passengers. Trucks, buses, cars, motorcycles, scooters, three wheelers, and multi utility vehicles are manufactured in India at various centers. After the liberalization, the coming in of new and contemporary models stimulated the demand for vehicles in the market, which led to the healthy growth of the industry, including passengers cars, two and three wheelers. The industry is located around Delhi, Gurugram, Mumbai, Pune, Chennai, Kolkata, Lucknow, Indore, Hyderabad, Jamshedpur, and Bangalore. Information technology and electronics industry. The electronics industry covers a wide range of products from transistor sets to television, telephones, cellular telecom, telephone exchange, radars, computers, and many other equipments required by the telecommunication industry. Bangalore has emerged as the electronic capital of India. Other important centers for electronic goods are Mumbai, Delhi, Hyderabad, Pune, Chennai, Kolkata, Lucknow, and Coimbatore. The major industry concentration is at Bangalore, Noida, Mumbai, Chennai, Hyderabad, and Pune. A major impact of this industry has been on employment generation. The continuing growth in the hardware and software is the key to the success of IT industry in India. Take a look at figure 6.9. Cable manufacturing facilities at HCL Rupan, Rupanarayanpur, West Bengal. Industrial pollution and environmental degradation. Although industries contribute significantly to India's economic growth and development, the increase in pollution of land, water, air, noise, and resulting degradation of environment that they have caused cannot be overlooked. Industries are responsible for four types of pollution: air, water, land, noise. The polluting industries also include thermal power plants. Air pollution is caused by the presence of high proportion of undesirable gases such as sulfur dioxide and carbon monoxide. Airborne particulate materials contain both solid and liquid particulars like dust, sprays, mist, and smoke. Smoke is emitted by chemical and paper factories, brick kilns, refineries, and smelting plants, and burning of fossil fuels in big and small factories that ignore polluting norms. Toxic gas leaks can be very hazardous with long term effects. Are you aware of the Bhopal gas tragedy that occurred? Air pollution adversely affects the human health, animals, plants, buildings, and the atmosphere as a whole. Water pollution is caused by organic and inorganic industrial wastes and effluents discharged into rivers. The main culprits in this regard are paper, pulp, chemical, textile, and dyeing. Petroleum refineries, tanneries, and electroplating industries that let out dyes, detergents, acids, salts, and heavy metals like lead and mercury, pesticides, fertilizers, synthetic chemicals with carbon, plastics, and rubber, etc. Into the water bodies, fly ash, phosphogypsum, and iron and steel slags are the major solid wastes in India. Thermal pollution of water occurs when hot water from factories and thermal plants is drained into rivers and ponds before cooling. What would be the effects on aquatic life? Waste from nuclear power plants, nuclear and weapon production facilities cause cancers, birth defects, and miscarriages. Soil and water pollution are closely related. Dumping of wastes, especially glass, harmful chemicals, industrial effluents, packaging, salts, and garbage renders the soil useless. Rainwater percolates to the soil, carrying the pollution to the ground, and the ground water also gets contaminated. Noise pollution not only results in irritation and anger, it can also cause hearing impairment, increased heart rate, and blood pressure, among other psychological effects. Unwanted sound is an irritant and a source of stress. Industrial and construction activities, machinery, factory equipment, generators, saws, and pneumatic and electric drills also make a lot of noise. Control of environmental degradation. Every liter of wastewater discharged by our industry pollutes 8 times the quantity of fresh water. Take a look at this map. India. Some software technology parks. How can the industrial pollution of fresh water be reduced? Some suggestions are minimizing use water for processing by reusing and recycling it in two or more successive stages. Harvesting of rainwater to meet water requirements. Treating hot water and effluents before releasing them in rivers and ponds. Treatment of industrial effluents can be done in three phases. Primary treatment by mechanical means. This involves screening, grinding, flocculation, and sedimentation. Secondary treatment by biological process. Tertiary treatment by biological, chemical, and physical processes. This involves recycling of wastewater, overdrawing of groundwater reserves by industry where there is a threat to groundwater resources also needs to be regulated legally. Particulate matter in the air can be reduced by fitting smoke stacks to factories with electrostatic precipitators, fabric filters, scrubbers, and internal separators. Smoke can be reduced by using oil or gas instead of coal in factories. Machinery and equipment can be used and generators should be fitted with silencers. Almost all machinery can be redesigned to increase energy efficiency and reduce noise. Noise absorbing material may be used apart from personal use of earplugs and earphones. The, the challenge of sustainable development requires integration of economic development with environmental concerns. Take a look at figure 6.10. Sewage treatment plant under Yamuna Action Plan at Faridabad. Take a look at figure 6.11. Ramagundam plant. NTPC shows the way. NTPC is a major power providing corporation in India. It has ISO certification for EMS Environment Management System 14001. The corporation has a proactive approach for preserving the natural environment and resources like water, oil, and gas and fuels in places where it is setting up power plants. This has been possible through optimum utilization of equipment, adopting latest techniques, and upgrading existing equipment, minimizing waste generation by maximizing ash utilization, providing green belts for neutral ecological balance, and addressing the questions of special purpose vehicles for afforestation, reducing environmental pollution through ash pond management, ash water recycling system, and liquid waste management, ecological monitoring, reviews, and online database management for all its power stations. Exercises. Multiple choice questions. Which one of the following industries uses limestones as a raw material? Aluminium, cement, plastic, automobile. Which one of the following agencies markets steel for the public sector plants? Heil, Sale, Tata Steel, MNCC. Which one of the following industries uses bauxite as a raw material? Aluminium smelting, cement, paper, steel. Which one of the following industries manufactures telephones, computer, etc.? Steel, aluminium smelting, electronic, information technology. Answer the following briefly in not more than 30 words. What is manufacturing? Name any three physical factors for the location of the industry. Name any three human factors for the location of an industry. What are basic industries? Give an example. Name the important raw materials used in the manufacturing of cement. Write the answers of the following questions in 120 words. How are integrated steel plants different from mint steel plants? What problems does the industry face? What recent developments have led to a rise in the production capacity? How do industries pollute the environment? Discuss the steps to be taken on minimize environmental degradation by industry. Activity. Give one word for each of the following with regard to industry. The number of letters in each word are hinted in brackets. Use it to drive machinery. People who work in a factory. There are product is sold. A person who sells goods. Thing product producer, to make or produce, land, water, and air degraded, project work. Select one agro-based and one mineral-based industry in your area. What are the raw materials they use? What are the other inputs to the process of manufacturing that involve transportation cost? Are these factors following environmental norms? Activity. Solve the puzzle by following your search horizontally and vertically to find the hidden answers. 1. Textile, sugar, vegetable oil, and plantation industries deriving raw materials from agriculture are called. 2. The basic raw material for sugar industry. 3. The fiber is also known as the golden fiber. 4. Iron ore, coking coal, and limestone are the chief raw materials of this industry. 5. A public sector steel plant located in Chhattisgarh. 6. Railway diesel engines are manufactured in Uttar Pradesh at this place. Thank you.